Today's Scotland's joint rail unions launched their 6 months to save Scotland's railway campaign. That they chose to launch the campaign outside Butte House should tell us everything we need to know about how the Scottish Government is currently regarded by the workforce, an essential workforce who literally kept Scotland moving through the pandemic. Every last one of them a key worker deserving not only our thanks but our respect and support too. And today those workers were clear with me that industrial relations on Scotland's railways are at an all-time low. On behalf of Scottish Labour, I express our solidarity with those taking action for jobs, for fairness at work, for paying conditions and for the future of this vital public service. Today is also World Car Free Day, a day when motorists are encouraged to leave the car at home. Nicola Sturgeon claims she wants Scotland to be at the forefront of tackling climate change. The SNP promised to reduce car use by 20%. Yet COP26 will meet in Glasgow in less than 40 days, and the SNP stance on rail confirms that Greta Thunberg was right. Scotland isn't a world leader on climate change. The SNP are all talk and no walk, and so are the Greens. On this side of the chamber, we believe in public ownership of the railways, not as a pre-election stunt, but to put the voices of passengers and workers at the heart of the railway. To invest in a growing rail network, not a declining one. It's time to set out a vision for the future of ScotRail, and it's time for leadership to make that vision real. A new People's ScotRail, publicly owned and accountable, with representation from Scotland's passengers and the 4 joint trade unions on its board. A ScotRail that works for passengers, not profit, with affordable travel and improving services. A modern ScotRail, expanding services, decarbonising and driving modal shift away from Scotland's roads to Scotland's railways. If the Minister and his Green colleagues share that vision, then they will commit to 1. Restoring ScotRail service to pre-pandemic levels from May, 2. Intervening to resolve all current industrial disputes on our railways, and 3. Withdrawing their feeble amendment and backing Labour's motion today. That is the test. That is the test for the SNP and Greens today. Their amendment does not reject overall service reductions. It's a green light for railway cuts. Just like they sold out on a public energy company yesterday, they are set to sell out Scottish passengers today. Their weak amendment proves that the SNP were all talk when it comes to improving our railways, and their deal with the Greens is a sham. In agreeing this motion, Parliament can give its view and call for services to be built back to pre-pandemic levels from May 2022. We accept that timetables can change, but the overall level of service must not be diminished. Presiding Officer, Labour are also calling on the Scottish Government to resolve all current industrial disputes on the railways, with settlements that are fair for the workforce. Industrial action during COP26 is likely, and it would be an international humiliation for the Scottish Government. Are they really willing to stand by and let that happen? That action is not instructed by London bosses, as 5 SNP MSPs disgracefully claimed. It is mandated democratically by key workers here in Scotland. To suggest otherwise is an anti-union smear against those workers, and those MSPs should apologise. RMT are again in prolonged dispute with ScotRail. TSSA warn ScotRail to expect action over understaffing. Unite's engineering members voted overwhelmingly for strike action too. All rail unions are calling for disputes to be resolved fairly, and they have been frustrated with the Minister behaving like a Tory Transport Minister, appearing to rule out intervening unless workers accept efficiencies. If the Minister wants efficiencies and a resolution, then he should reassess the excessive fees his government are paying Abellio for a 6-day-a-week service, instead of legitimising attacks on key workers. The vision for a better, greener, publicly controlled ScotRail is one that many claim to share. However, the reality of industrial unrest and service cuts is not compatible with that vision. I therefore move the motion in my name and invite Parliament to call for an end to the industrial unrest on the railways, the restoration of services to pre-pandemic levels, and a new vision for a publicly owned ScotRail that works for Scotland's passengers.